Hey, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock on April 6, 2020. We will call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Rhodes, can you do roll call with just the board members for now?
Mayor Barnett.
Present.
Mr. Swineheimer.
Present.
Ms. Jones.
Present.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and ask the department heads that are here. Chip, are you here, Chip Horner? Okay, if Chip joins, we'll write. Somebody just joined. Was that Chip Horner?
Can you tell Rick who's on?
How about Kirby Cochran?
Listen in.
Okay, hang on just a minute, Sean. How about Kirby Cochran?
Here.
How about Matt Culp?
Here, sir.
Sally Brown?
Present.
Sherry Phillips?
Here.
And Rick Littleton's in the room here. How about Krista Linke?
I'm here.
Brett Jones?
Online.
Okay, Mark Richards?
Here.
Joanna Myers?
Here.
Tara Payne?
Present.
Okay, and so sounds like the only one we're missing is Chip right now. He may join us later. Okay, and then anybody from the public, which are our city council would be the public. So I did hear Chris Reinerson, Sean Taylor. Is there anybody else that's
Tabling in person.
Is there anybody else online that we haven't mentioned? How about less tabling is in the crowd about the 15 feet away from us. How's that? So yeah, Les is here with all his friends. So anyway, all right, we'll go ahead. We want to try to run this as close to the way we always run it. So I'm going to ask everybody to please stand and let's do the pledge together. Okay, I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
To the flag
of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you guys and gals. So I know this is going to be probably a pretty short meeting, which that's a good thing, I guess. So that would get us to the consent agenda, and I don't know if anybody wants to hear the Board of Works special meeting, what that was about. Does anybody want to hear that or what that was about in our minutes? If not, we'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Earn your bucks.
Lisa made the motion. Come on.
Second.
Bob seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay,
And also
that gets
include
us-
in that the approval of claims. Sorry, I didn't get it all out.
Okay, we'll give you that one. So we have another motion for the approval of claims. Bob, do you want to?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that gets us to old business. And I will say today that we had a department head meeting, virtual department head meeting today. It went really well. And with the old business here, request approval for lease of wheel loader, which was tabled from the previous meeting, Street Commissioner and Fleet Manager Brett Jones. Brett, did you have any more information than what you had today at our department head meeting?
No, we did not get any response back yet to Lynn's change request. So I would request that we table this once again in hopes that we'll have final answer by our next meeting.
I would add there are primarily three areas that there typically is with regard to this document that's sent to us. One of them is the choice of law, the indemnification that they were requiring. And the third item, I can't remember, Brett, but we've made comments, sent it back to them, and the ball is in. Actually, Brett had that to me about 2 weeks ago, so we're really waiting on them to get back with them.
I'll move to table that to the next meeting, whenever it may be.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, just curious.
Thank you.
I will ask Brett. Was you able to hear Lynn pretty well during what she just said?
It was fairly vague. I can hear her, but it sounds
And the
like...
reason we asked, she's sitting back a little bit farther than normal, so we're just trying to get our distance here of what we really need where people can understand
Yeah,
what's being said.
my
That's all we
39-year-old ears could hear it, but I'm guessing some of the others couldn't so well.
Hey.
Watch
Hey.
it.
I'm trying to stay away from these guys, but I'll move up closer. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah,
Wonderful.
it's a lot better.
Much
Okay.
better.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So that really is all that we had on the board, and I know there's not that many here. I know Les is here and I appreciate Les here coming and hearing what we have to say every meeting. So I want to go ahead and there's nothing under new business. There's nothing under other business.
There might be about extending the prior resolution, authorizing the extension of that prior resolution that we talked about.
Okay, so
If we would.
let's, under other business, Ms. Gray has something we need to talk about.
Board of Works members, you'll recall that at our emergency meeting, you passed Resolution 2020-03, which essentially authorized a procedure for the mayor to continue to perform duties of emergency, which he has done. During that period of time, though we utilized the emergency declaration procedures, which are set forth in the Emergency Management Act. I won't bore you with that, but there has been some discussion amongst legal counsel that it's a good idea to reconfirm those every 30 days if you're so desired to do so, so that there can be no question about it. Specifically, the statutory criteria is Article 10, 14-3-12. And essentially what I'm asking is for the Board of Works to consider to extend the prior resolution where you authorize the executive, being the mayor, to require certain employees to work remotely during a declared emergency and to continue to take actions on behalf of the Board of Works as would typically be done by you, subject to ratification at subsequent meetings. Today you had approval of claims, which are essentially, we continue to do the same work that we always do, so I can't imagine it would really change things, but I think it's probably good practice to have that in place because we don't know what the next 2 weeks will hold for us all. So that would be my request, to extend by proclamation of the 3 Board of Works members the prior Resolution 2020-03.
And should we put a time limit to that?
For additional 30 days, I think will cover us until our April meeting or May meeting, depending on what has to happen. And if we have to have an emergency meeting, we'll have one in between. But 30 days, I think, makes some sense.
Lisa, did you have a question?
No, I'm fine with that.
I'll make a motion then to extend the prior resolution for another 30 days as a result of the emergency.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. As we've indicated, it's our goal to continue to have meetings like we normally do remotely. These are just really intended for emergency types of things, and the request from most people, including the governor's office, is that we simply do those things that are necessary to continue and not undertake large projects. And I know Steve wouldn't do that without bringing it to this board, but I think it's good to have something in place in the event, God forbid, something really is ugly the next couple of weeks.
Well, I appreciate the trust that you put in me because I don't want to be impeached. How's that? So, anyway, is there any other business that we need to bring up? Mark, did you have any other business, Mark?
Yes. I would like to, well, first of all, the Community Crossings grant award is expected to be made tomorrow. And in light of that, I have the bid specs ready to go. I would like to request authorization to advertise the project on Friday, April 10th, and then the next Friday, April 17th, and open bids on April 29th.
Are you saying, Mark, that we have been awarded a community action grant?
The announcement is tomorrow.
Or is this in anticipation if we do?
Well, all I can say is the announcement is tomorrow. This is in anticipation.
So Mark, I want to add to that just a little bit. Even if we didn't get the grant, we were going to move forward with this round of paving anyway, but this may be, if we didn't get the grant, this would be all we'd be able to do this year. Correct? And then if we get the grant, we may, depending on how long we're down here and the situation, if we decide to do another round of paving or not. Does that make sense? Is that
That's
not
my
kind of what we're
understanding,
talking about? Yeah. Okay. See what I'm saying, Bob?
Yeah.
So, okay.
But we don't really have to take action. We just tell them to go ahead and proceed.
Yeah. Mark, is it your request to authorize the bid specs? Is that what you're asking for?
Authorizing the advertisement and opening bids.
You probably should do a motion.
I'll move to authorize the advertisement and open the bids for, should I just say, for paving and to include the Community Crossings grant if awarded.
I would just say I wouldn't even add the Community Crossings because I don't think it's really relevant at this point to the to the request.
Strike the last portion.
And just because just because they authorize the advertisement doesn't mean we're bound to accept any of the bids. We don't have funding.
Correct.
We don't have funding. So
That's right.
So basically, we're looking at authorizing the advertising and opening of the bids for April 10th and 17th for advertising and opening the bids April 29th.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. That's
Thank
pretty. It sounds like our teleconference here is a little bit delayed.
About a second behind.
Yeah, and that's good. Is there any other business that needs to come forward at this time?
Mark, while I've got you, maybe ask one question. It looks like they are proceeding with the South Main Street project.
Yeah, and I'll cover that and some other things in my department head report.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Speaking of that, did you ever join us?
I'm here.
Okay, so I'm going to start just like I'm looking down to my left, and there sits Chip. So, Chip, we'll start with you.
You look great, Chip.
Yeah, you look better today than you ever looked.
Oh, God. Love it. All right, so lots of things going on in parks, and then in turn, lots of things not going on in parks. We've canceled a lot of programs and facility reservations. As a matter of fact, anything in the last half of March, April, and May have all been canceled, and we're doing refunds for all that stuff. We've also canceled all the May community events that we had, which is only one. We were having a new event with the Festival Country Festival Country people downstairs. We were going to have an event in mid-May. We're going to cancel that. The rec center and the active adult center typically have went by school schedules. So, for example, if it snowed and school was out, our facilities were closed too. So we're now closed until a minimum of week after Memorial Day. If we stick with that schedule. Because it doesn't make any sense for schools to be closed and have all those kids and people here at the rec center. So we have come up with our tentative opening date. I'm knocking on wood, you can't see that, but is June the 1st. So hopefully it all depends on how things go. That's a big deal for us because our summer camp that has 150 kids scheduled to start usually starts the day after school ends. That's now going to be delayed until June the 1st. The Aquatic Center usually was opening day was May the 16th. That's been pushed back till June the 1st. All depending on, I guess, guidance from the governor on how things proceed. Some other things that we put in place, according to the governor's executive order, all playgrounds, restrooms, tennis courts, basketball courts, ball diamonds have all been closed to try to do the social distancing thing. On top of that, it also flooded in the park 2 weeks ago. So we have been spending the last couple of weeks cleaning up from the flooding. And thanks to Brett and the street department, we're going to get their assistance on some major bridge cleanup starting tomorrow, actually. And on top of that, the mowing season has started, so all of our part-time and full-time maintenance staff have all started mowing last week. And then the last thing that we're going to do, two things. One is obviously the trail is getting a lot of use right now, so we're spending a lot of time making sure it's cleaned up and presentable to people because it is going to get a lot of use during this time. And we're also going to use the 160 some odd picnic tables that we have to kind of spread them out all over our park system a safe distance away so people can actually go out and have a picnic or go out in the park and read a book or whatever to keep their sanity, but do it at a safe distance. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing. Last couple of weeks we've cleaned the rec center from top to bottom. I'm sure we'll do it again before we open again, but we've been busy. We've also been closed. So.
Good job, Chip. Your Parks Department does a great job of maintaining, and I think we got the best park system and park superintendent in the state. So.
Ooh, I'm gonna hit mute after that. Thank you.
This is recorded. It's on.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So how about Chief Cochran?
Yeah, hey, just to piggyback on Chip's, all the folks on the trail, we talked this week, we're going to break out the mule and maybe put a bike or two downtown on the trail. Since we got Mary Helms, who's on bike patrol, she's out as an SRO from the school. We have her back on the street and downtown. We're probably going to put her on the bicycle on the trail a couple of days as the weather warms. Myself and someone else will jump on the mule and be downtown as well on the trails. Just trying to. There's a lot of traffic out there if you go over toward the parks and stuff. And last week we had the issue with the parks, especially the skate park. Every time you put up tape, it's being pulled back down. And hopefully we can get a grasp on that. Just wanted to bring that up real quick. The second piece is we did have a big run on domestics over the last probably 8 or 10 days. Everybody's just tired of being in the house. Hopefully the warm weather will put people outside and cut back on some of that. We reduced the number of times that we respond to. We don't respond at all to medical runs unless it's an overdose and we're close. We can get there. Which has been talked about. And so that's kind of cut back on some things just to keep us out there. Gloves, anybody that needs gloves, we got several thousand pair, so we're willing to share some of those. The rest of the PPE equipment, the mask, we do have some N95s now for all of our guys. We have some face shields and also some safety glasses out to the guys. Right now we have a good supply of hand sanitizer. I won't say we have all we need. We're not sure what's going to happen the next couple of weeks, but we do have ample supply of that. Right now, I think that's it. Other than that, we have our office staff out of the office right now. All of them are working remotely, with the exception of Dee, who comes in and does her claims and takes care of those things. She's in most of the day with me. Everybody else is kind of rotating in and out 1 day a week for a few hours because to pick up files and records and then go and enter those. So we're keeping everybody busy. We shampooed all the carpets throughout the building, so we're getting some of that housekeeping done. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Chief. How about Chief Colt?
Oh, good evening. So, I spend most of my time now looking for personal protective equipment. So, and I spend a lot of time talking to the nursing facilities, nursing homes, and visiting Otterbein, I think 4 times last week, just to make sure how they're doing and how things are going there. Talked to the hospital a lot. The hospital systems in Marion County are going to what they're calling a stage 2, which means if we take anybody to Marion County, we actually have to call beforehand, and you may get directed to a different hospital than the one you want to go to, just because of bed shortages. Johnson Memorial is not having that issue right now, but if anybody wants to go to Marion County, that is an issue up there at the moment. So you may want to go on the south side and may end up on the east or north side of Indianapolis if you decide you would like one of those hospitals. So other than that, I go around each station daily and have a daily conference with them just to make sure that they're staying safe. Do a lot of research on N95 masks since I'm the safety officer for the joint management team for the county. And I didn't think I'd find more information about N95 masks than anybody in the world because everybody has an idea how to clean them and how not to clean them. So that's pretty much what we've been doing. Number of what we're calling sick flu cases, because that's how we're dispatching them through our dispatch center. If we think you're a possible positive test or somebody that will need tested, we're averaging probably about 3 of those a day right now, plus our normal calls. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. And nobody's sick as of yet from the fire department, correct?
As of yet, sir, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sally, DPW?
Yes, sir. We are all healthy and working. It's a busy time. The construction project is going very well. The new UV system, which is the ultraviolet system that disinfects the effluent before it goes out to the creek, that we're required to report from April 1 through October 31st. We went online April 1st without a problem, really a couple very small glitches in electric, but we're meeting those requirements and everything looks good. We're thinking we might be up and operational in 3 weeks or so, providing everything goes well. And Youngs Creek lift station, we're waiting. Those pumps are in and operational, doing really well. And we were pleased the way they kept up last rain event. It wasn't nearly as long in surcharging that line. It recovered pretty quickly, so we're pleased with that. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Sally.
You're welcome.
Sherry?
Hello, everybody. Yes, we're still operating. All of us are coming in each morning, and as we get work done, we're rotating out. I say we, but I'm letting the girls do that. I'm typically staying till 4:30. Our phones have been crazy. Everybody, I think, is hearing about the rate increases and kind of having questions about that and raised trash questions and everything else right now. So anyway, that's what we're doing. They've all been healthy, thank God. And moving forward, I did billing today, so you all will get your sewer bill if you were worried about that. So yeah, everything is doing okay. It just seems like, you know, we've been staying really busy and just moving forward with the most important thing in mind is everyone's health.
Good job. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Rick? Yep. Rick, do you have anything you want to add? Rick is our Kathy. He's sitting over here being Kathy today. So, and
well, I want to thank Rick for all of his wonderful help.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one he's babysitting for then. How's that?
That's right. He's been a big help.
Yeah, he has. I think we got, having an IT department full time, I think we timed that right. So, Okay, how about community development, Krista?
Hi, everybody. It's good to hear all your voices. Dana and I are working from home, working remotely, just coming in to drop claims off and things like that. But we've been spending a lot of time listening to webinars and trying to gather information for small businesses on how to apply for assistance and funding, and then looking at other opportunities that we as a municipality can apply for to try to help as this kind of drags on. We know there's going to be a lot to do with small businesses, and so we're trying to be as informed as possible about those kinds of availability of resources and just touch base with business owners. We spend a lot of time doing that, making sure that they are applying for things and getting that done. And other than that, we have the dumpster enclosures that Dana was working on. We're trying to finish that access agreement with Andy Wood, and then hopefully that'll be on your agenda for the next Board of Works meeting to actually award that contract. The FDC did have an application deadline for Friday the 3rd, and to my knowledge, we did not receive any applications. I think that everybody is probably just not sure where things stand and if they would even be able to get a contractor to do the work at this time. So we're going to revisit that in our schedule for the rest of the year. We did apply for a OKRA grant, the Office of Community and Rural Affairs. I haven't heard back. I just checked my email again before this call to see if we had received any next steps on that. So just trying to do what we can to help out. I did talk to Jess with Discover Downtown Franklin, and we have decided that Strawberries on the Square is going to have to be postponed. Right now we're looking at July 31st. So just kind of stay tuned for that. And I think all of our summer events, Chip and I were texting earlier that, those dates are all going to be pretty fluid this year as this kind of deadlines work themselves out. So just we'll have to stay tuned for all that. And I think that's all I have. Oh,
go ahead.
Well, we are going to have our Economic Development Commission meeting next Tuesday, the 14th, and then the following Tuesday, the 20th, we're going to have our Redevelopment Commission meeting, and we're going to use this same format with this same number and ID. So if anybody wants to call in, and we're just going to get that on the agenda for us. The one thing that we did talk about earlier, Rick and I, about this line, using it for our meetings, is just kind of using the council chamber's calendar, because we don't want two people trying to have a meeting on this line at the same time. So if you have, if the park board needs to use it or something that doesn't normally meet at City Hall, if we could try to just make sure we aren't scheduling those on top of somebody else's meeting for the time being.
Good point.
And that's it.
Okay, Krista, just real quick, the FDC, which is its own entity, 501c3 private entity or private company that we help fund through the RDC funds. A couple things. There's two choices there, I guess, and you and I and even Kim Mitten, who's the president of that board, have talked a little bit about. So there's no applications there. So I think what you're looking at doing maybe is either having another round of applications later in the year, or waiting and see if there's some business that we could help in a different way down the road. That's an option you're looking at, correct?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
The issue with that is that funds from the Redevelopment Commission are they're restricted that we're not able to help with operating costs. That's a Indiana code requirement that's always just been structural kind of things, improvements, which is why we go with the facade grants and those kinds of building issues. And so that presents a problem doing any kind of operating assistance using those funds. So we're kind of trying to work through that and see if maybe we can use a portion of those for something different. But at this time, that really isn't an available option, unfortunately.
Okay. And I knew that, but I was wanting you to get that on the record by saying that. So.
Sure.
Yeah, trick question there.
You could see my head nodding, you'd understand.
All right, thank you. How about Mark? Or no, Brett. I don't want to skip Brett. He's next. Brett Jones, Street Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick update. We've been working in split shifts, allowing the guys to work every other day. Office staff's working from home. MS4 is also working on a split shift calendar. We're actively practicing social distancing, limiting one guy per vehicle, washing hands regularly, and wearing proper PPE when it's appropriate. We're performing essential services such as trash, brush and limb pickup, pothole repair, stormline maintenance, and other duties as they arise. We've put some of the non-essential programs on the back burner for now, such as sidewalk replacement program. But depending on how long this pandemic lasts, we may adjust some of those tasks as we all see fit. So, for the most part, business as usual, just with half staff on a daily basis.
And you guys are doing a good job of it at half staff. And at some point, we may reevaluate that, Brett, and like we talked today, maybe call more people in as long as they start and stay away from each other and they're in different parts of town. We may be able to do that. So we'll just play that by ear, go the rest of this week, and then next week we'll talk about that. Does that make sense to you?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Mark Richards, Engineering.
Yes. We've got our building inspection staff out continuing to do inspections. Dave Parsley is doing the commercial inspections and the final inspections on residential. Chris, our new guy, is doing all the other residential inspections other than the finals. Jim Farr is issuing permits for street cuts, doing those inspections, and also doing inspections on subdivision development. He was out on a proof roll this morning at Blessed Youngs Creek. And then Dave Walters is continuing with code enforcement activities. Office staff is mainly working from home. We do come in, Joanna and I especially, every day or so to make sure that all building permits are being addressed. Site plans are able to be reviewed and things like that. So we're, it's pretty much business as usual.
You're fading out, Mark.
What's that?
We're starting to fade out.
Oh, I'm sorry. We are. We are. I don't have one yet.
That's why.
I know it's past time. One change we are making. Julie's been working from home, answering phone calls. Starting tomorrow, she's going to work in the office on Tuesday and Thursday each week, and that way she can handle permit application processing and other general office work, and that is going to take some of the load off of Joanna. She'll continue to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from home. Bob, to answer your earlier question, South Main Street and West Jefferson Street projects have started. Most of the work that's been done to date has been installation of the traffic control signs and erosion control, as well as utility relocation. I know Mayor Barnett was in contact with Dr. Clendenning last week to ask if construction of the roundabout could be allowed to begin early due to the closure of the schools. And I've passed that information along to both the contractor and Crossroad. They're going to work through that. They will not be able to start some of the work because Duke still has relocation left to do that is not expected to be complete until probably early May, between Duke and the other attachers to those overhead poles. Final tracings for the school zone beacon project have been submitted to NDOT, and that project is currently on the letting schedule for July 8th. We talked about the CCMG and annual paving project already. Alley work is expected to begin in about 2 to 3 weeks. If you'll recall, the project was awarded to Robertson Paving, and I've been in contact with them to schedule that to start. That is going to take about 3 weeks once they start work. So we're in pretty good shape. The contractual completion date is June 12th on that project. The amphitheater design work is progressing. We've got a meeting scheduled with Duke on site later this week to map out the location for the electrical service. Let's see. And there's a list of questions that Chip forwarded to me, asked by the architect, and I'm in the process of addressing those at this time. I also was talked to Scott Graham today to schedule utility disconnects prior to building demolition. He thinks that he's probably going to be out of there and not need the electrical service any longer in about 2 weeks. And finally, Forsyth Street paving is scheduled for the week of April 13th, and final grading and seeding for the project is scheduled the following week. The consultant, IWM, is coordinating with US EPA to make sure that proper COVID-19 protective measures are available to the contractor employees. So there may be some further discussion on that schedule, but I'll let you know as soon as I know anything. And that should be all I have.
You have any questions, Bob?
No, sir. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
You're
Good
welcome.
job, Mark.
Thank you.
Joanna, are you still with us? Can you give us kind of an update?
Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah, Joanna knows, she hears everything before anybody else does. She is on it. So Joanna, could you give us an update, please, if you don't mind?
Sure. Actually, we are in the process of doing final approvals for Sunbeam at the northwest corner of Jim Black and 44 for them to start moving dirt, and then also Culver's should be starting moving dirt within a couple of weeks. Everything else seems to be moving just like it normally is on schedule, so I don't anticipate any delays at this point.
Hey, good job, Joanna. Tara, do you got anything you want to add?
No, honestly, like I've just been busy, filtering questions from the public, and you can, feel free to send them my way via email, tpayne@franklin.in.gov. I've just been keeping up to date with Governor Holcomb's directives and the directives set forth by you, Mayor Barnett, and Mayor Myers. So, we're just going to keep updating the community with the Facebook videos. We've got another one scheduled tomorrow. So, keeping updated doing that.
Okay, thank you. How about Jane, Madam Clerk Treasurer?
We're working as usual.
Can you hear Jane all right?
On a split schedule. It's real important that Michelle be able to work almost every day because she's payroll, insurance, all of that. But she is in an office of her own, so that works. I do have mail in your mailbox. So if at any time this week, usually I'm here every day, 8 to 4. So if you're coming this way and you'd like your mail, just either call the office, text me, email me, and I'll meet you outside with you. And if there's anything else that you need from us, let us know.
Okay, I'm going to ask Bob, do you have anything to add?
No, sir. I just want to probably direct this more to Tara. The little posts that you've had on Facebook and in the public are really helpful, very informative, and actually, I'll tell you how good it is. You even make the mayor look smart.
Bob, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It's honestly
Not an easy job?
That's hard to do.
oh my goodness, guys. No, I'm honestly, I love my job, and I really enjoy keeping the public informed, and we're all, honestly, like, everybody keeps saying it, but it's true. We're all in this together. It's unprecedented times, and everybody has valid concerns and questions, and sometimes there are questions I can't answer, Mayor can't answer, and we just are like, we'll get back to you, and that was a good question. So, it's been good.
Okay, how about Lisa? Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I just would like to thank all the department heads, because I know you're dealing with some challenges you've probably never had to deal with, and this is, like Tara said, unprecedented times, and it's very heartwarming to hear that everybody's still got things moving along. Our city is still running, and thanks to the mayor too for everything that you're doing. I know that with everything that's coming out, it's worrisome. But I feel confident in the direction that we have. So thanks again to all of you.
Thank you. How about Ms. Gray?
Yeah, just one thing that I want you to be able to share with your constituents. Because they've allowed remote meetings, there's really two things that we've got to focus on, and I think we're doing a good job of it. The first thing is we still have to make our meetings public, which means that in real time, persons, in addition to Les, have the right to attend and observe. And by doing that, that's why there's a call-in number on our agendas, and there will continue to be as long as we continue to have remote meetings. So the public is more than welcome to call in. By doing attend and observe, it does not necessarily mean we will have public hearings where they can interact with us, but they absolutely have a right to call in and listen. And that's why Rick governs what call-in numbers that we have, so we can keep accurate records for that. Also, the service that we're using for these meetings records all of this. So the fact that Bob indicated the mayor is smart or looks smart is a part of the permanent record. And Mark getting a beer is also a part of the permanent record. But it is part of the record, and we will keep those. And the importance of that, in all seriousness, is that Rick will now, after this recording is done, preserve it and download a link on our city website, so that in the event any of your constituents wanted to know what we did today, that would be available for them to listen to at their own leisure if it's out there. We anticipate having a planning commission meeting. We anticipate having a BZA meeting. We'll be utilizing the same processes. We'll limit our agendas to those things that are essential so we can keep government working, but we will make recordings of it so that people can tune in and hear what we did today, because I think that's critical that they know that we're doing the public's business. So they'll be there in two formats.
So I think everybody on the board and department leaders have spoke. And I was saying today that's a real short agenda. We should be done in 15 minutes. And 45 minutes later, here we are. So
move to adjourn.
Did you hear that, Lisa? Bob said Lisa second. So all those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.